Hi, my name is Dr. Alam. I'm the hair restoration specialist here at Aventis Clinic. I wanted to take some time to make this video answering a really important question we often get asked. How much does a hair transplant cost? What are the factors that influence the cost of a hair transplant, and what are the things that you need to consider when deciding on this? So there are three factors that influence the cost of a hair transplant surgery. I look at firstly the clinic, then I look at the surgeon and the surgical team, and thirdly, the patient and their specific needs. When we look at the clinic, we consider firstly the location of the clinic. If you're in a fancy postcode in central London, the rental costs are going to be higher, therefore often the cost of the transplant is likely to be higher. Also, we look at the size of the clinic. How big is this clinic? Are they doing multiple procedures on the day? There are some clinics that are doing 5 to 10 procedures a day. If they're doing many procedures in one day, they're able to keep their costs down. But that often means sometimes there are teams doing double shifts in a day, and that could potentially affect the quality of the treatments and the transplants. And finally, we look at the smaller individual clinics that can offer you a more bespoke, personalized service. Those services may be a little bit more expensive, but you have the reassurance of having a much more personalized care and a treatment plan. So those are the most important factors when it comes to deciding on the clinic and the location. Also, the location is an important factor when you're considering you're traveling. Is it far distance from your home? Are you able to get home quite quickly? Are there public transport costs you need to factor in? And also the logistics of traveling after surgery. Are you going to be traveling yourself, or are you going to get someone to pick you up and drop you off? All those factors need to be considered when deciding on the clinic location. The next thing to look at is your surgeon and their experience. How many years have they been doing this? How many procedures have they done? Take the time to look at the before and after pictures. So the more experienced the surgeon is, the more procedures they've done. Also, we look at the social media profile. There are some that spend a lot of time on social media, or even getting social media influence to promote their brand and their procedures. Those are likely to be a little bit more expensive due to the higher publicity and popularity. Doesn't necessarily mean they're any better or worse, but that's just something to consider when deciding on choosing the right surgeon. And the surgical team as well, the experience of the team. How long have they been doing it for? How many procedures have they done? Have a look at lots and lots of before and after pictures. The likelihood is the surgeon and the surgical team, with lots of good feedbacks, lots of reviews, lots of before and after pictures, that have got a great experience in the industry, great reputation, it's likely to cost more than, say, someone that isn't very well known and that doesn't have a full body of before and after pictures. And finally, and most importantly, the patient yourself. We look at how much hair have you lost? How complex is the procedure? Are there some medical illnesses that we need to factor in? Are there specific requirements with the hair? For example, does someone have a cowslick on the hairline? And also we look at the density. We take all of those factors into consideration and then decide on a treatment plan. So the larger the procedure, the bigger the area that needs to be covered. If there are complicating factors or complex factors in the procedure, that may cost more than, say, a more straightforward, smaller procedure. We also look at patients' desire for density. The higher the density one often will require a higher number of grafts. That could lead to a higher cost in this scenario. So in summary, the main factors that influence or determine the cost of a hair transplant surgery firstly depends on the clinic, the size and location. We're looking at the surgeon, experience, reputation, popularity, the surgical team. We're also looking at patient factors such as the amount of hair loss, the number of grafts needed, the complexity of the procedure, and finally the method of surgery, whether it's FUT or FUE. On average in the UK, you expect to pay between £4,000 to £7,000 for a reputable clinic, good surgeon to carry out a procedure to a really high standard.